Welcome back. We were discussing empathy and sympathy and how empathy is feeling as the other person. So, it is just not say sympathizing with him, it is much more than that, it is empathizing. So, that is actually the very philosophical foundation of volunteerism. As to why people volunteer, why should we volunteer? Because they are emotionally moved by the plight or the condition of the other person. So, that is what. It may be sometimes a very great feeling of patriotism, you feel for the country. Now, I have been telling you, because right now there is a war going on in Ukraine, Russia is trying to conquer Ukraine, occupy Ukraine, and how the people of Ukraine are volunteering themselves for many things, including war, risking their own life. Why? Why they are risking? Because they are feeling, they are emotionally surcharged about the future of their country, the present condition of the country, they are moved by the love for the country. So, similarly, when you volunteer to do something for somebody else, for some group of people or for the country, the foundation is that you feel for them. आमे sympathy empathy कथाबार्ता करते ये empathy बा sympathy होची sympathy ठू टिके अधिक कथा होची empathy अन्य मानकर दुख दुर्दशा को निजे अनुभव करि परिबा सेति सहानुभूति प्रकाश करिबा यथेष्ट नुह निजे से भली अनुभूति करि परिबा जेतबे अन्यर अनुभूति तुमे निजे अनुभव करि पाउछ तुमे आवेगपूर्ण होई उठिबो एवं आवेगपूर्ण हेले तुमे निश्चित भाव में सेवा करने आगे आसो ये हूँ तार भित्तिभूमि मूलभूमि यही आसूची सेवा करने ये गोटे बड़ कथा एवं यूक्रेन बर्तमान युद्ध चलती जो थी कि रूसिया बहुत बड़ देश यूक्रेन गोटे छोट देश ताको माड़ी बसापी युद्ध करुच्ची तेणु यूक्रेन लोक मैंने निज देशर भविष्य निज देशर दुख दुर्दशा द्वारा आवेगपूर्ण हो जाउछंती एवं आवेगर सहित से माने देशपाई काम करने आगे आसपरिक युद्ध करने अस्त्रशस्त्र धरने जदिव अस्त्रशस्त्र व्यवहार भल रूप से शिखी ना कि आदौ शिखी ना तथापि शिखी जावाई प्रस्तुत अच्छा तेणु आमे भारतीय स्वाधीनता संग्राम कथा चिंता कर केते आवेगपूर्ण भाव में देशर स्वाधीनता लोक मैंने काम करते तेणु ये आवेग अन्यर दुख दुर्दशा को निजे बुझीपर एवं से अनुभूति को निज अनुभूति रे परिणत करि परिबा ये होची वॉलंटियरिज्म रो मूल दुआ. So that is why now let us come to the other points which you have jotted down, which you can see at the PPT, which is there also explained in great detail, in quite a detail in the textbook. It will not be possible in the classroom to repeat everything that is there in the book. You will of course read the book, you must have read the book, that is what I have been trying to tell you, that before you come to this class, for that matter any class in your college, you must read the textbook, so that when the teachers comes, you can effectively participate and your doubts will get cleared. So what are the points? They provide enthusiasm, additional resources, genuine interest, many a times specialized skill set not available otherwise. Now, I was a principal of a college, there was an NSS camp and it was decided that a fishing pond will be dug up in the college. So volunteers had come from different places, some 100 volunteers were there, and you will not believe, in the 10-day special camp they could dig up a fishing pond. How was it possible? If I had hired coolies, केड़ा मान को डका होता जे माटी खोलो, and they would have dug it up and these volunteers were digging up. The difference is there. What? The students are, the young people are, those who are volunteers, they are full of enthusiasm. And what paid workers would have done, say in 1 month or 15 days, they did it in 7 days. Why? Because they are inspired, they are enthusiastic. So it brings in enthusiasm to the work. It brings in additional sources. As I said, you cannot altogether remove the paid workers. Paid workers are there, police is there to control the traffic, students, volunteers are providing additional resources. They have a genuine interest to learn the work. They want to know, they want to learn, and they want the thing to be done. So, they have interest. Many a time there is also specialized skill which is brought in by volunteers. I will give you a different example. This is not the example of digging up a pond, is not the example of a specialized skill. Suppose sometime we find that some doctor has developed a new method of operation. So, when he has developed a new method of operation, he cannot go everywhere and do the operation. So, what he does is that he is coming to one hospital and he will do the operation, other doctors will come and they will watch him. Sometime he will develop a video lecture, series of video lecture how to do the operation. So, other doctors learn it from him and he is not charging the other doctors. Why he is doing it? Because he feels that he has developed something, this knowledge, this skill must be shared with everybody, so that this technique will spread. Why this technique will spread? Because ultimately human care is the objective, welfare of the human is the objective. So, how do you save lives? Sometime with better skills, and this better skill is taught. Similarly, people provide their skill in software sometime. In many other fields, people do share their specialized skill, and when it is shared free of cost, then we call it volunteerism also. Volunteers have often supplemented the regular workforce. We have been emphasizing this, how the students have been supplementing crowd management, how teaching is supplemented, how doctors are supplementing health workers, so many other things are we have discussed. So, they supplement the regular workforce. The world during the first and second wave of pandemics without these volunteers would be unimaginable. Now we have seen the world during these two pandemics, COVID pandemics, and world was in great need. And what happened? Large number of volunteers who are not part of any NGO, they offered their services to bring food for the older people. Many people could not go out of their home, and others came in, helped. Many a time neighbors came in and helped. Many people who had to travel in India, they had to go back, trains were suspended. Many people walked from long distances. And what happened? Other people also came in to help them, to provide them food, to provide them water, sometime even little transport, is it not? So, that is how these pandemics could be managed. Many lives were lost, but if nobody had come forward to help each other, then many more lives would have been lost. Many lives were also saved. Many lives were saved, lost because of the pandemic, because of the disease, because of health issues, but many lives were also saved. Private hospitals came. There was a crisis for oxygen. And then what happened? A company not for profit, it came forward. It said, we will coordinate with the big farms, big steel industries, because for steel industries they require oxygen also, but they require it for their factory. But now what happened is that these steel factories decided to divert their oxygen for hospitals during the second phase of the pandemic, and a company not for profit coordinated that, and it brought oxygen. Absolutely, many trucks also volunteered that, they provided their truck. Transport company said, we will take the oxygen from your steel factory to the hospitals. You can imagine. Many people were given vaccination, and in India, Government of India provided free vaccination, and many companies provided vaccine at a very cheap rate to the government. Sometimes countries like India was a big vaccine manufacturer. India also provided this vaccine free of cost to other countries, many poorer countries. So, it was given absolutely free of cost. So, this is what is needed. Sometime what happens is that you provide volunteerism, government organizations also provide, non-government organizations also provide, and the pandemic could be managed. So, can you imagine if nobody had come forward for helping each other, no free service was available, if no volunteerism was then what would have been the condition of mankind? Even in rich countries, volunteerism paid huge dividends. In America also, it was necessary to feed people, free food was provided both by the government and private organizations, even individual privates, companies. So, volunteerism's importance, that is why you should volunteer, because if during emergency, if during pandemics, we do not help each other, we do not survive, we do not survive. Volunteerism is an important increasing popular mechanism for young people to bring about positive change in the society. I was telling you about the enthusiasm. Now, the positive energy that is there with the youth of any country, you cannot find that kind of energy in old people. Some old people are there, of course, who are quite energetic, but generally speaking, it is the youth which is more energetic. And volunteerism, if we engage the youth in volunteerism, what we find is that their energy is channelized in a positive manner, not in a negative manner, in a positive manner, and that is what brings in volunteerism. That is why we need volunteerism. Strong call for a bottom up process in which youth are actively engaged. I will explain this bottom up process. Normally, we understand top down process. Top down process means, suppose the principal says, let us do this thing. That means the initiative comes from the principal. Now, if the bottom up means the students go to the principal and tell him, sir, let us do this. That means the initiative comes from the bottom. And we say always, those who want to volunteer, the initiative has to come from them. A bottom up process is a better process than a top down process. I will give you an example. In 1999, there was a super cyclone in Odisha. So, I was working in a college, so we have students. So, the students we were discussing amongst ourselves what is to be done, how can we help. So, Bhubaneswar was affected, but not as much as affected as say Machagan near Paradip, the coastline. So, we decided that we will go to those villages and do some voluntary work. Now, somebody said that let us collect clothes, this and that, but some students said, sir, let us take pencils and notebooks, pens and textbooks. Why? They said, sir, there is, after the super cyclone there was huge rain, all the houses, thatched houses are blown away, even tin houses have been blown away, asbestoses are broken. So, the young students will not have any notebook, they will not have any books, they are not able to study. So, students are very happy when you give them color pencils, when you give them drawing books, when you give them books and all that. So, when the initiative came from the students, it is an example of bottom up. So, that is what we say, that when you do volunteerism, you should take bottom up approach, it should come from within the students, it should come from the youth, and those who will do the major work of volunteerism, we should not always impose from the top, you do this, you do that, they say let us do this, let us do this. So, when you say let us do this, then it is a bottom up approach. So, that is what brings in positive changes. Similarly, volunteering is a viable mechanism. Through volunteerism, many problems can be solved, which the government cannot do, sometimes volunteers can do. Volunteerism associated with higher chance of employment. Now, what is this? How does volunteerism give you a higher chance of employment? Now, I was giving you the example of Teach India. Now, if you have gone and taught for 1 year after your course, and if there is a vacancy for a teaching position, this experience helps you. Now, even if you say there is a picnic in the college and you are in charge, what happens? You have to learn so many things. How? Before I was a teacher, I did not know how much rice is to be cooked for 100 students who have gone in picnic. So, whether it we will require 10 kg or 8 kg or 20 kg, we do not know. And sometime later on I came to know, after going for 1 or 2 picnics, I realized that if we cook some 80 grams of rice per student, it is enough, and there will be still more rice left out, which you have to feed to the cows in the picnic spot. So, even 50 gram will do. This is an experience, a very valuable experience. How much mutton is to be cooked? So, that gives you experience. Suppose you have gone in a NSS camp and you have to live in a tent. How to fix a tent which will not be blown away by air? So, you learn. It gives you tremendous experience. And when people ask you in a job interview, they ask, what is the experience that you have? Besides reading in the college, going to the classroom, making notes, appearing at the examination, do you have any practical experience in doing anything? Now, if you have suppose you are a student of mass communication and you have done a street play, organized a street play, you have recorded it on your mobile or say this or that, then you know how to conduct this, how to popularize. Suppose you are a English honor student, you have designed some advertisement, you have gone and done an internship, you have volunteered your service to an advertisement company to write the content. So, what happens? You share these experiences, that is what improves your employment chances. Employers always look today very much what kind of extra experience that you have gained, particularly volunteerism. If you have volunteered, they know you are an enthusiastic person, you have gained some experience. That is how volunteerism is associated with higher chance of employment. Volunteerism complements formal education. Now, this volunteerism and formal education, as I was giving example, suppose you are an English honor student and you have learnt how to develop content, it is supplementing, helping each other, such as leadership, teamwork, problem solving. Now, these are other important things: leadership, teamwork, problem solving, planning, management, creativity, communication and negotiation. I will explain each one of them in few words. Leadership, what is leadership? Is something which we will read in Unit 5 in the 5th semester. Leadership we will deal in great details what is leadership. But here at least at the minimum what I can tell you is that leadership is not about leadership position. Principal has to have leadership quality in the college, without which he cannot run the college. But it is not only confined to the principal. Suppose you are a showroom manager, you have to have leadership quality because you have to manage so many people working with you, but you have to have leadership otherwise also. Others should have also leadership. I will tell you a recent story. Somebody was putting aside his coin. Whenever he goes to the market or whatever it is, if some coin, shopkeeper gives him coin, anybody gives him a coin, so what he will do is that count the note and these coins he will put it aside. And you will not believe, he found after so many years that he has coin more than 1 lakh rupees. He counted, he and his wife counted. So, he said, what can I do? He always wanted to buy a scooter for his wife. Now, he went to a two-wheeler showroom in Guwahati and discussed with him, and he said that I want to buy this scooter. So, he said, can you pay? He said, yes, I have brought the money. So, what he did was that he took the money in a gunny bag and said, count it, sir, I have brought so much of coins for you. The shopkeeper was surprised, the cash counter. So, the person who was in the cash counter, he said, Arey bhai, I cannot, bank will not take so many coins, 90,000 rupees coins you have brought, and if I calculate, count each one of them, it will take me 5 days. So, it is not good. You go to the bank, convert it into notes, or go to the Reserve Bank, deposit the money and get notes or something else, then we will give you a scooter. Then there was another person in the showroom. He was not the cashier. He said, nahi bhai, we will help this fellow. He said, how can you help? He asked the bank fellow, he said, bank will said, I will not accept 90,000 rupees in coins. So, how can you help? Let him go and approach the Reserve Bank in coin exchange. Then the other fellow said, no, 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 yaar, we are all 20 people working here. What we will do is that each one of us will take 10,000 rupees and go and exchange it in the bank. Our bankers, we have been keeping money in the bank, they know us, they will take this 10,000 rupees and we will give you 10,000 rupees. Now, if some 20 people do, somebody takes 5,000, somebody takes, then what will happen is that this 90,000 rupees will get converted into notes. Let him have his scooter. He has saved this with great pain and he wants to buy a scooter so that his wife does not go to workplace by bus and all that. He can have a scooter and let us all help him. Now, what happened is that there is 20 people working in the showroom, all of them, the mechanics, this, that, the watchman, the tea maker, everybody came forward and took some coin and got it exchanged. And the man was very happy, he could buy a scooter. Now, what happened? The person who suggested that let us, all of us, help him, we will exchange the coins for notes and let him buy the scooter. This is a quality of leadership. Leadership basically means solving people's problem. Your own problem and solving. Lead. You have to have leadership quality by problem solving, through problem solving. Now, this is an example of great example of problem solving. It is a teamwork. This is also a teamwork because so many people came together. All of them agreed that this is a good job to be done. No, they were not required to do it. They were not required to do it, but they have done it. So, it is a teamwork. They came together. It is problem solving. We have already discussed how it is problem solving. They had to plan it. Everybody will go to his banker and get it. Some planning is involved, some management is involved, and it is creative, absolutely creative, a new idea. So, without creativity we cannot solve problems. And communication, you talk with each other. Communication is very important. You must have seen in newspaper a few days back that mushrooms talk with each other. They use some 50 words. Animals, microorganisms, they also exchange ideas. It's a communication. So, that is what is, and negotiation. Sometime you have to negotiate. So, this is what is volunteerism. When you volunteer to do these things, you are expected to provide leadership. Okay? So, that is what is necessary. So, it promotes the teamwork, it promotes creativity, you think differently and all that. So, that is what is important. Now, driving forces in modern day volunteering. What is keeping modern day volunteering going on? What are the driving forces? Influences of values, culture and tradition. There is the influence of values that we inherit from the society. Culture and tradition, in each society there are some values. Say in Indian society we say Vasudhaivakam Kutumbakam. The whole world is my family. It is ingrained in our thought process that the entire world is one family. Not only when you do a yajna, Santi yajna, and what do you say? Let there be peace for the vanaspati, entire nature, peace for the mankind, peace for the animals, peace for plant. You pray for peace everywhere, prosperity for everyone. There is a new meaning to it today. Whether ancient Indians thought it that way or not, I will not comment on that. But today there is a new meaning. How? That we are all interdependent. Think of a tiger. If there is a tiger, there are 5 tigers in a jungle, you kill all the tigers. So, what will happen? The number of deers will increase and these deers will eat away the entire forest. And deers will die because there is no forest, they cannot survive. And if the plants die, then what will happen? There will be not enough rainfall. The catchment area of water will come down, earth will not retain water. So, what will happen is that water will get depleted. Then the villages nearby the village, near the forest will not get enough water. So, how will the villagers live without water? They cannot live. So, you see how the survival of the tiger is linked with your own survival. If the tiger dies, you will also die, is it not? Now, suppose that is what is, that the entire, we talk of cycle, we talk of cycles, how say the honey bees, if you do not allow any bees, so they will not come to your flower. If they do not come to our flowers, how will the seeds will be formed? Because they will take from one flower, sperms from one flower and deposit in another flower, and that is how the fruit comes in. So, if there are no bees, there are no butterflies, you may get plants from outside and all that, but the plants will not multiply, because why? There are no bees, there are no butterflies. So, you have to take care of the bees, you have to take care of the butterflies, is it not? So, what I am trying to tell you is that the world is an interdependent world, we understand that today more than in yesterday, because science has proved beyond doubt that the world is interdependent, and if you destroy our environment, if global warming goes on increasing, then what is going to happen is that it is the nature which is in danger, we say. No, no, dear friends, it is not nature which is in danger, you are in danger. Please realize that you are in danger, I am in danger, your friend is in danger, our children are in danger, our grandchildren who are yet to be born, they are in danger. So, that is what, and how can you save environment, how can you save our future, if we do not have enthusiasm, if we do not have leadership quality, if we do not volunteer to save this world. So, that is what is, it comes from our the values, it comes from our culture. So, Islam says that you have to give 10% of your income to the poor, it comes from the culture. In Sikhism, Kar Seva, even very big people, great people, powerful people, educated people, they sit in the Gurudwaras, say Golden Temple at Amritsar, and you will be surprised to see that they are polishing shoes of the visitors. They are washing plates of those who come and those who eat in the langar, they are washing their plates. It makes you humble, it makes you humble, you feel, yes, I am not great, I am not superior to anybody, I should serve the mankind. Our Mother Teresa, as Christianity says, service to man is service to God. These are the values, these are the culture, these are the traditions in various society. Volunteerism influences these things, it influences our values, it influences our culture, it influences the tradition. Empathy and compassion for fellow humans, animals and environment. I have already discussed what is empathy, what is compassion for fellow human beings, animals and the environment around us. So, it has to be, nature has to be saved, you must have feeling for the nature, you must have nature for fellow feelings and for everybody, even animals, because all of us are interconnected. So, we are dependent on each other, plants, human beings and other animals, birds, everybody is dependent. So, it is a circle thing. So, that is why it is a driving force, volunteerism is driving this, helping these things. A steps towards professional advancement through gaining knowledge, new skills and experience. This we have already discussed, how it improves your employability. I have given you examples of how, if you are pursuing English, how you should go and do volunteering work for say content development, or you say you are a designer, you design somebody's website for somebody. So, you do it when you are not fully qualified, not for money, but for free, but the experience helps you. Gaining social approval and forming new and rewarding relations to feel needed. So, when you do a voluntary service, your neighbors, suppose you have gone and clean a village, say our NSS camp is there, 100 volunteers have gone and they have cleaned a village. Don't you earn the love and respect of the villagers? Do they not offer you food? Do they not offer you good hospitality? And when you come back sometime also, they also cry for you. They miss you. You develop an attachment. You develop an emotional relationship of those. If you are serving a patient in a hospital, you establish a mental contact with that person. Sometimes it may extend to social contact. So, that is what is necessary. Advancing one career in corporate bodies or engaging in advocacy for a cause. Always sometime if you have experience in NSS, if you have experience in NCC, you get extra mark. When you are selected for a job, the job givers, the employees prefer you because of your experience. That is an advocacy for a cause. So, for environmental causes, animal help, say helping the street dogs, you identify yourself with a cause and it is helpful. Looking beyond one's own problems and sometime as a therapy. If you help others, you are looking beyond your own. Everybody has problem. You have also problem, I have also problem. But when we help others, we go beyond our problem and it acts as a therapy, it helps us also. It helps us to understand our own problems better and it gives you satisfaction, ensuring personal growth, gaining self-esteem and leadership qualities. Leadership quality, I have already discussed, your self-esteem. You rise in your own estimation. You start to respect yourself. No, I am not nothing. I could do this. I did this. So, your esteem goes up. Feeling the urge to reform civil duties. I have always said that you require enthusiasm, you require the courage of the youth, and that is how you are very energetic. Respect for religious beliefs. Sometime also by voluntary work in religious places and your own belief goes up. Religious beliefs or compulsion. Sometimes it may be compulsion, but these are the essential things that we require. Let me in few minutes tell you the summary in Odia. तेणु जेतबेले युवक अवस्था आम था युवक मान पाखरे जो आग्रह थाए, उत्साह थाए, उन्मादना थाए ताकू गोटे सकारात्मक कार्य लगाई जाई पारे। किपरि ना समाज सेवा माध्यम रे ताहा लागि पारे। आउ थरे कहि रखे जे रेगुलर फोर्संकर काम रहिबो, ट्रैफिक पुलिस रा आवश्यकता अछि, किंतु आमे जाई कि ट्रैफिक काम करिवा द्वारा सेथिरे अधिक उत्साह आसे। पैंडेमिक समय जदि आमे परस्पर को साहाय्य करि न थांते, बहु कंपनी एवं अनेक समाज सेवा संस्था माने जदि काम करि न थांते, बहुत लोक मले आउरी बहुत अधिक लोक मरि जाई थांते। विशेष करके जेतबेले श्रमिक माने गोटे स्थान रो आ गोटे स्थान को बेले बेले चालिकी जीवार देखागला, साइकेल रे जीवाकू देखागला इत्यादि इत्यादि, सेतबेले लोक माने तांको बाटरे साहाय्य करछन। से भली साहाय्य न करथिले अनेक श्रमिकंकर मृत्युवरण होइतांता। तेणु सारा पृथ्वी रे, खाली आम देश रे नुह, ए सारा पृथ्वी रे एई भली साहाय्य करिवार उदाहरण देखा जाई पारे। एवं समाज सेवा द्वारा गोटे सकारात्मक मनोभाव आसीबो, नकारात्मक मनोभाव रु दूर रहिबे। आउ किछि हबनी, सबु सरीगला, एई भली मनोभाव न आसी नाही आमे संभाली नवा, आमे पारिबा, आमे आगेइबा, आमे एई दुर्दशारु एई दुखरु ऊपर को उठिकी जिबा, एई जो मनोभाव सकारात्मक मनोभाव एई भली समाज सेवा करे आसे। तेणु पिला मानक पाखरु बॉटम अप अप्रोच जो कथा म कहली जे प्रिंसिपल या करिवा बोली कहवा अपेक्षा पिला माने कहवा आमे जदि एक कथा करिवु सर ताले से एक तळु ऊपर को उठिवा कथा भलिया हबो। ऊपर तळ को न कसी तळु ऊपर को उठिले सब बळे भल काम हुए। तेणु आमर कौन होची जे वॉलंटियरिज्म जदि आमे प्रैक्टिस करिवा आमर चाकरी क्षेत्र में मध्य सामान्य साहाय्य करे। जो माने चाकरी दियंती, जो संस्था माने एवं जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मान को पाखर तुम चाकरी देवा पे जाओ, तुमे जदि कॉलेज रे पढ़ला बेलू वॉलंटियरिज्म करिच, एनएसएस रे काम करिच, एनसीसी रे काम करिच, तुमे इंदिरा गांधी अवार्ड पाइच बा सी सर्टिफिकेट पास करिच एनसीसी रे, निश्चित भाव में तुमको अग्रहार दियंते, अग्राधिकार दिया जाए। कहीं ना से जानते आंकर गोटे काम कर समस्त सहित मिसिक काम कर अनुभूति अच्छी, से अनुभूति की से सम्मान दियंते। तेणु आम देशर जो संस्कृति अच्छी, धर्म रे कथा अच्छी, विभिन्न धर्म रे अच्छी, जेपरिक इस्लाम धर्म रे, ख्रिस्टियन धर्म रे आयर 10% से चर्च को दियंती बा दान करती से भाई भारतवर्ष में वसुधैव कुटुंबम आमे समस्ते एक गोटे परिवार भली सारा पृथ्वी गोटे परिवार भली जो भाई कथा अच्छी एवं आमर ट्रेडिशन अच्छी सबु देश विभिन्न प्रकार संस्कृति धर्म रे यही अच्छी स्वेच्छा और स्व इच्छा सेवा करिवार उदाहरण बहु रही। एम्पैथी कथा तो आलोचना करिचे जे अन्यर दुखरे दुखी होबा ता दुख को अनुभव करि परिबे। तेणु मनुष्य मान प्रति पशु मान प्रति गछलता प्रति ए समस्त प्रति जे आमे परस्पर सहित उपर निर्भरशील आमे जदि परस्पर को साहाय्य न करिबा ताले आमे केही रही परिबानी। ए कथाटा विज्ञान वर्तमान बहुल भाव प्रमाण कर सारी। तेणु निजर कारीगरी कुशलता वृद्धि पाई मध्य समाज सेवा करिवार आवश्यकता रही एवं आमे भल काम कले आमे जो समाज रे काम करू जहाँ काम करू तांको ठारू स्नेह श्रद्धा पाऊ भरपूर स्नेह श्रद्धा पाऊ एवं से स्नेह श्रद्धा को पाथाय करके आमे जीवन रे आगको जाई परिबा। तेणु आ गोटे कथा होची निजर समस्या बहुत थिबा सत्ते आमे जो अन्यर समस्या समाधान करबा पई चेष्टा करू अनेक समय आम निज समस्या मध्य समाधान हुए एवं निज समस्या समाधान करबा पई ताको सामना करबा पई आम भितरे गोटे दृढ़ मनोबल देखा जाए गोटे करेज देखा जाए साहस देखा जाए आमे मन बांधी पारू एवं निजर व्यक्तिगत उन्नति पाई निजर आत्मसम्मान वृद्धि पाई निज भितरे नेतृत्व नवार गुण गुड़िक अभिवृद्धि करबा पई वॉलंटियरिज्म करिवार आवश्यकता रही एवं सिविक ड्यूटीज जोटा कम्युनिटी पाई समाज पाई जो काम करवा शिक्षा आमर जो दायित्व अच्छी से दायित्व को आम निर्वाह करूँ। अन्य धर्म प्रति आमर सम्मान बढ़े निज धर्म प्रति सम्मान बढ़े एवं धर्म जहाँ कहे ता आम करूँ। यही सब कथा दृष्टि को तुम विचार कर जापर जे आम कहीं वॉलंटियरिज्म प्रैक्टिस करवा एवं तद्वारा कौन लाभ हम एति कहीकि आज वक्तव्य रखुचे। धन्यवाद।